Hi, this is a quick demonstration of Appenate. Now, if you're looking at the Appenate platform, then you've probably realized that your business would run better if you had less paper, more accuracy, and better access to information, whether it be in the office or in the field. Appenate can help in a few key ways. First of all, you can make data capture in the field a lot more efficient. You can get rid of the paper and move to digital versions of your forms that can be captured on phones, tablets, laptops, and desktop PCs. Secondly, you can mobilize your business processes. You can schedule and dispatch tasks out to your workers in the field, all through the Appenate platform. This avoids the pain of trying to manage this on email threads and Excel spreadsheets. You can also build approval processes and other workflows in the platform, allowing forms to be sent between different people for completion along various stages of your process. Thirdly, you can utilize the fact that Appenate is a full-blown business application platform. What this means is that you can develop apps for all kinds of different business purposes, whether it be HR, timesheets, safety, audits, inspections, a whole variety of different functions that your workers are probably performing right now in the field. With Appenate, you can put all of that stuff together in one place for a single user fee. So not only is it going to be consistent and easier for your users to accept in the field, but it's going to save you a ton of money because you're paying a single user license, but you can build as many apps as you like on the platform. Okay, enough with the sales pitch. Let's have a look at what this thing can do. So when you sign up for a trial account, the first place you're going to start is in the dashboard. You're going to have no data, you're going to have no screens, so it's not going to be very interesting at first. So let's get this up and running. Let's put some content into our account. The best way to do that in terms of getting started quickly is to head over to our examples catalog and go look up a form or a specific case that you want to try out. In this case, we're going to take a look at a field worker scenario, and this is going to be a full-blown demonstration, so it's a bit more advanced, but I'm just going to hop around a few of these areas to kind of show you what it can do. So I'm going to install that field worker example into my account, and what's going to happen is it's going to create a bunch of screens. Let's stop for a second and just talk about what a screen is in Appenate. If I head over here to just add a new blank screen, you'll see that I get an option around what type of screen I want to build for starters, and then I can name it and give it an icon and associate some data with it. If you're just starting out with Appenate, you're probably here because you want to capture data through your mobile devices instead of on a piece of paper. So where you want to start is with a data entry form. That type of screen is going to cover all your data capture needs, no matter what kind of information you're trying to collect. We also have other screen types though, and this is where Appenate becomes that business application platform where I was talking about before. So just briefly, to give you an idea of what types of screens are available, you can build board of icon screens, which are a simple navigation screen type, really helpful for organizing your different forms and other apps that you build. Instead of giving your users a big list of forms for them to have to find what they need, you could put together an icon board that will group it together. For example, all your safety stuff goes in one place, all your maintenance, all your HR, timesheets, etc. can be grouped and give the users just a cleaner experience when they're using the app. We also provide inquiry screens through our list of data and our map a data source screens. These listing and mapping screens are driven by data sources. When we talk about a data source, we're talking about something that's got rows and columns. So it could be a product list, it could be a list of equipment, it could be a list of customers, sites, locations, you name it. If you've got it sitting in rows and columns, probably in a spreadsheet, you can load that into our system as a data source, and you can link it into the various screens. By definition, the kinds of apps that you build with Appenate are data-driven. So you're going to be using data sources a lot. It's probably an area you want to go check out and start trying out. Maybe upload a couple of your spreadsheets that you've got lying around and plug them into some of your screens. The list of data is going to give you a row-based display of all the rows in a data source. So if you've got a list of equipment, you can have a nice listing of your equipment. Users can filter on it, they can search it. This is really helpful if you've got a situation where there are lots and lots of rows, maybe 50,000 rows, which is something we can handle. You can have a really good search facility and ability to find those quickly in the field. You also have the mapping screen, which is going to show a pin for every row in your data source. So you'll be able to visualize your data on a map. The details screen is the final piece of the puzzle when it comes to putting together proper line of business apps. Basically, what you want to do with the details screen is you want to show the specifics of a particular row from a data source. So this is often associated with a listing screen or a mapping screen. The way you put your apps together when you're getting more advanced is you actually chain these different screens together. So a user might click on an icon from a board of icons. He might jump into a listing screen to look up some information and find a particular item that he wants to work on. He might drill into that item by tapping on the row from the listing screen and looking at the details. And then he might go from that into a form where he's going to edit or update the information on that particular row. But we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. Let's stay focused on forms right now. This is meant to be a quick opening demo, so we'll try and stay on track. Okay, let's drill into that example that we just installed. As you remember, we installed a field worker sample and it's given me a whole bunch of screens to look through. I'm just going to focus in on one of the forms that gets installed as part of this. It's a service job log. And so the idea with this particular form is that a worker in the field can go and perform a job. He can capture the information about the job, and we can then generate a pro forma invoice out the back of that job. When you first go into this after installing it, you'll see that I can't edit anything on this particular screen. Everything's grayed out. The reason for this is because this is currently the published version of the screen. In our system, we want to allow you to rapidly make changes to your screens, add fields, make changes, break it, do all of those things, but all without disrupting your guys in the field. There's nothing worse than a worker trying to get his job done and getting messed about because you're trying to make some changes to the form he's working with. In Appenate, we have a versioning system to solve this problem. Right now, I'm on version 8, and this is the published version. Our system considers the published version to be the production or the live version of that particular screen. And it means I can't change it, and that way I can't break it. I want to make some changes. I want to have a look at what I can do to the screen. So I'm going to create a new version of the screen by hitting the new version button. I'm now in an editable new version of that screen. I'm on version 9. This is in a draft status. Meanwhile, everybody else is still working off the production version, and they're going to be unaffected by anything I do to this screen design. Looking at the designer page that I'm on, there's a few key sections. The first side is the left-hand side, and that's got my field selection options. This has got pretty much every kind of field you're going to need to capture data in the field, starting from simple dates, times, numbers, text, choices, drop-downs, all the way through to more advanced capture like GPS, photos, audio, video, signatures, right the way through to even being able to capture values and write values back to NFC tags. In the middle of the screen, I've got a visual preview of what my form is going to look like. On the right-hand side, I've got the list of field properties or options that are available for the particular field that I have selected. As I click on the different fields in my preview, I am seeing that the field properties are changing to reflect the particular field that I'm working on. I've also got a page option at the top, and this is because with forms in Appenate you can have as many pages as you like, and it's also a great way of organizing and grouping your form for a better experience for your guys in the field. If I click on any of these particular items, I can see that I've got some common information like a data name, which is the unique name for every field. I can give it a title, I can give it coloring, I can change its layout. I can also make fields required. The different fields will have different options once you go beyond these common areas. So for example, with the date field, I can set it to be date only or date time. If I switch on to a text field, I can specify how many lines I want to be able to capture. You might also notice that we have a little hammer icon against a number of the different fields. particularly if I go into the advanced area where I start being able to control the visibility of the field or the value that's populated into the field. Whenever you see a little hammer icon, this means that you can use a formula. In Appenate, a formula allows you to perform a dynamic action of some kind, much like a formula in a spreadsheet. If you click on the little hammer icon, you'll pop up the formula builder. This is a really helpful tool when it comes to learning how to create formulas, but also when you want to start putting together more complicated formulas. We have the ability to insert any field that we've got inside our form. So for example, if I want to refer to the phone field and get the answer value from that, that's how I do that. You can also choose from a list of formula functions that we have available. We have over 100 of these bad boys, and they can help you do all kinds of stuff. You've also got access to all kinds of information, contextual information about the logged in user, the current date and time, all the way through to being able to do math, text, date, time, all kinds of functions that you might want to use or combine to get a calculated result, or maybe get a logic result that's going to give you a true or false answer. We've even gone as far as porting Excel's financial functions into our formula engine, and this really helps if you're doing things like premium calculations. I know our insurance customers really appreciate this. The formula engine is baked into the platform in lots of different areas. This allows you to customize Appenate in a ton of different ways. So once you master formulas in the platform, you're going to be able to do some amazing stuff. So far, we've really just been looking at the secure website side of the Appenate platform. The form designer, the other screen designers, they're all going to allow you to put together your apps and mobilize your business processes. But at the end of the day, the website backend is really aimed at administrator level users who are going to be maintaining and creating all of this different content and data. The guys in the field, the workers who are going to be using the apps day in and day out, are going to make use of our native mobile apps. So let's take a look at those now. When a user first installs the native app from Google Play or the Apple App Store or onto their Windows machines, they're going to be confronted with a login screen. Every user that you want to have using the app needs to be registered on the platform with their own separate user account. When they log in, they're going to see whatever you've built for them at first. In this case, because we've installed a full example, a full field worker example, we're going to have a whole bunch of screens to look at. If you run up the app though, and you haven't created any screens or installed any examples, you're going to have a blank screen. Let's drill into that particular job log that we were working on before. We saw how the design looked in the form designer. Now let's see how it looks like on the app. So I head into that form, and you can see straight away I've got a few things going on. I've got a date field that I can edit, and it's just defaulting to current date. I've got an invoice number which is being generated based on the date, and a counter function that I'm using to create a formula for that. I've got my user details plugged in automatically, and now I can choose the particular customer that I'm going to work on. So I'm going to work for Russell today, and I can see his address is being populated and his phone number. If I change my mind and decide to work for Aaron, I'm going to see his address and his phone number. So based on my selection, we have this form set up to automatically populate other fields. Just another powerful feature of our platform. Now that I've chosen who I'm going to work for, I'm going to head out and actually do the job. Here I'm going to be capturing different service information for each item of service that I've done. So through this, I'm going to do an equipment replacement. I'm going to say I replaced the cooler on a piece of equipment. I spent 2 hours doing that, and I'm calculating an amount automatically based on my hourly rate for equipment replacement. If I head on through the form, I'm hitting a repeating scenario. A repeating page in our platform allows you to capture the same fields over and over again. It's really useful if you're needing to capture line items of any kind, whether it's order items or in this case, service line items. So I'm going to add another service detail, and I'm going to choose a different side of things. I'm going to be working overtime, so I'm going to work time and a half. I'm going to say overtime that I had to work, and I'm going to plug in maybe a couple hours for that. Based on what I'm selecting, again, the calculation is firing, but I'll also note that the hourly rate is being populated. So if I change my mind and I realize, oh, it was actually double time I was supposed to be doing, What's happened is the hourly rate has changed, and obviously so is the amount. Given my hours haven't changed, that's really just the dynamic nature again of the platform in action. I'm going to head on through here. I don't have any more service lines to capture, and I'm going to complete this job. What I would do in the field is I might hand my device to the customer and ask them to sign. So this they can do with their finger. If they had a stylus, they could do it too. I'm just going to put in a test customer name there. At this point, I'm done. I've finished the job, and I'm going to complete and upload my work and move on to the next job. Obviously, I could have made this form a lot more advanced. I could have added photo capture so I could log photos of my job as I'm progressing. I could have also added barcode scanning and other features to the form, but we're going to try and keep things simple at this stage. The other thing to note is that the native app works completely offline. So once I've logged in on the app for the first time and downloaded the screens and other data that makes up the apps you've put together using the form designers and the backend website, as a worker, I can go out and do my jobs whether I have a network connection or not. This is just super powerful because it means that the app is not going to get in the way of the worker trying to do his job. It means there's no frustration because their cell network is down or they just don't have a data connection at the time. They can still get out and do their job. All of those fields will still populate, they'll still have the same customer list, etc. When they next use the app and the app is able to connect and synchronize, it's going to do that automatically in the background. The user doesn't have to press any buttons, they don't have to do anything, they just need to use the app like they normally would. In the background, we're making sure that any data that they've captured and that has been stored on the device waiting for upload will at that point be uploaded and will be synchronized into our system. I've got a connection right now, so I'm going to hit the upload button. I can see it's been scheduled for upload, and that's going to happen right away in the background. I've also got a history of what I've just done. So I've got that particular form entry in my history that I can go through any time and I can review. Let's have a look now how this is going to come out on the platform. So that data has been uploaded in the field. Back in the office, I can go through and take a look at my data entries area. I can see the particular entries that have been captured so far. So let's have a look at that particular form. I was filling out a service job log. That form's been uploaded and I've got my data ready to go. It's all visible and accessible to me. We're going to store this data. We're going to keep it secure. So you don't need to worry about that side of things. Any images, any signatures, etc. that have been uploaded, we're going to keep a hold of and we're going to make sure that they're safe. The next thing I might want to do with this data is export it. Now I can do this manually and I can go through and just export all of my entries. If I had more of these, I could export them to a CSV file or an Excel file. But in this case, I'm going to export to a PDF. With this example, I've actually uploaded what we call a data template. In our system, a data template allows you to create beautiful custom PDF outputs. It's probably one of our top 3 features. The idea is really simple. You can use a standard Word or Excel file as your template. It works something similarly to a Word mail merge if you've ever done that before. So I'm going to choose my template right now and I'm going to export that. I'll be notified that it's going to be scheduled for a download and that's going to happen pretty quickly. In my notifications area, I'll be able to check on the progress and I can see it's already been exported. I'll just click on this notification to have a look at it. As you can see, we've got a really nice custom PDF output. Remember, this is being driven by the Excel file that I uploaded to use as a template. We've got repeatable data being shown as rows. We've got the customer's signature image being embedded right there in the PDF. And I'm not writing any code, I'm not putting a lot of work to generate this kind of output. If we take a look at what that template looks like, this is what it looks like. This is the Excel file that we've uploaded. You'll see that we use a handlebars or double curly syntax whenever you need to refer to a form entry field. So here's my customer answer, my customer name. That's where I want those values to be plugged into my template. The signature is being plugged into a specific area that I've made for. I've got the signature set to be constrained within the area that I've given it. I've also got repeating syntax that's used to specify an area that needs to be repeated. I want to repeat the rows every time I find a piece of repeatable information. This syntax you can read up on in our documentation. We have options to show and hide whole sections of templates, and we've got customers doing amazing stuff with this. They are generating 75-page audits and assessments of properties, 5-story buildings, 10-story buildings that take days to audit and assess, and they're generating a single big PDF report out of the back of that. Our system can handle it. We've got customers around the world using it today. So that's a quick overview and really a run through of some of the things you can do with the platform. I haven't even gotten close to mentioning the fact that you can upload and store documentation in our platform. We have a lightweight document management module, which we call Docs. This is great if you've got standard operating procedures, health and safety documentation, or other items that you want to make available to your workers in the field, and you want it to be accessible, particularly if they're offline, and you want to be sure that they've got the latest copy. It's really hard to push paper out to everybody these days, so why not use our Docs module to do that? It's even got a versioning system built in that allows you to control the latest published version just like you can with screens. Data sources is what I mentioned before, that ability to upload and store your different data sets in our platform. This allows you to get off spreadsheets and get into managing your data dynamically in one place in the Appenate platform. If you have external sources that you want to connect to, we have connectors that allow you to do that. On the topic of connectors, something I didn't mention is that we have the ability to add connectors onto your forms. Now, this is really powerful if you don't want to be manually exporting or managing your data as it's been captured. Instead, on every form, you can add a connector, 1, 2, as many as you like. We have connectors for simple things like sending emails, all the way through to being able to store in SharePoint lists or send text messages through the Twilio service. A great use of the platform is to generate PDF documents through the platform and have that be uploaded into Dropbox or a Box or Google Drive account. This way you've got an offline repository of all the files that are being created. But having it being able to just be emailed automatically to your clients can be an automatic, really quick win that you can use straight away. Other things you can do with the platform, and a whole area that we're not going to look at today, is the ability to dispatch jobs out to your workers in the field. Not only can you do it on a job-by-job basis, but you can set up recurring tasks, and you can also view a calendar which shows your team members the bookings that they already have and allows you to quickly and easily visualize what's going on with your workers in the field and find slots for jobs that need to be scheduled. The recurring tasks feature is a new feature that's just come in that allows you to set up regular jobs that have to be done, say, on a certain interval. For example, you want to do a maintenance job every 30 days. The system will take care of that. You set up the recurring job and set and forget. Every time that period comes up for it to be executed, the system will assign it automatically to one of the available people in the field. You've also got all the other functionality you need to manage your organization, set up your users. You can even set up groupings of your users so that you've got a logical way to view and put together your different teams. Finally, you can customize your app to your heart's content. We have an app setup area that lets you upload your own logo, set the color scheme for the app, and change and configure various settings about the app. This is really helpful because it's going to give you a branding presence within the app. So once your users log in on the Appenate app, they're going to see your branding and your color scheme. It's a great way to have consistency across your various applications. If you want to go even further with the platform, we have white labeling options available. These are full white labels. Essentially, we become invisible. All your users will download and install an app from the App Store that we are managing for you, but that is carrying your branding and is published under your name. This is a super powerful way for you to get your presence into the mobile game as such. So if you've got a brand that you'd like to work under and that you'd like all your contractors, subcontractors, or clients to be using, talk to us about our white label options. I really encourage you to make use of our support team. You can contact us through the Need Help widget on the bottom page of every page. You can get in touch with us through the Got a Question functionality, but have a look as well. We've got links to our knowledge base where we have a ton of documentation available, and we also have built-in tutorials that are going to help you step by step to put together different screens, put together forms, add connections, you name it. Finally, and just one last thing to note, whenever you see these little help icons, click on them. we've got detailed hinting built into the platform. There is no faster way to pick up what a field means and understand how to use it than to click on that little help icon. That is contextual help right there in the platform, ready for you to use. Hope this has been useful. Look forward to seeing what you do with the Appenate platform.